Not too long ago, we reached the conclusion of E3 2018, seeing the end of some hype that has built up for months or even years for some games. Overall, it was a pretty mixed bag this year, though considering this is my first E3 that I've really dived into, I'm sure they all are. There's lots of things with promise for the future, there's lots of letdowns, and a lot still left unknown. This year, I watched every conference except for PC gaming to see what the entirety of the industry could offer me. For the big three companies, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, I came in with these three questions related to my gaming experience in the future. For Microsoft, it's, why should I keep my Xbox One? It's a console I've been using less and less because I don't like it that much, so why shouldn't I just sell it? Will Microsoft continue to supply me with a unique gaming experience, or will the Xbox be replaced by the Switch? For Sony, my question was, why should I buy a PlayStation? The only PlayStation console I've ever owned is the first one, and I only had like 5 games on it. So what Sony needed to show me is, will they be able to provide something new that I want, or do I already have everything I need for that? As for Nintendo, my favorite of these three right now, my question is, having skipped the Wii U, will the Switch be worth the investment? Are they going to continue expanding its gaming library and be competitive to other consoles in terms of first and third party? Or will Nintendo's philosophies and technical limitations mean that I can't really treat the Switch as my primary console? With that in mind, I'm going to kick this off with everyone besides those big three, and rank all the presentations in chronological order based on two things: presentation and games. In each category, they can score up to 5. EA. Their presentation was completely dull and uninspired. It was also extremely cringy. I don't know why they always bring on these awful speakers for every single event.
I've always been a competitor.
And it was a boring, awkward viewing experience. As for games, EA continues to underperform. The only thing I really have any interest in is Jedi Fallen Order, but this is EA, so I'm extremely hesitant. I like playing the Battlefield games, but I don't have any interest in the franchise overall, and I have absolutely no hope for Anthem. Which brings the overall rank of their presentation up to 4. Not a good start. Bethesda. Bethesda absolutely crushed it this year. There were definitely awkward moments earlier on in the presentation, but overall they just absolutely nailed the presentation. They had a great combination of entertainment and information, and showing gameplay, or just showing teasers for things in the future. Overall, they did great. As for games, there's a lot I'm looking forward to. What they showed from Rage 2 made me very interested in Rage 1, so I might try that and then maybe pick up Rage 2 when it comes out. I love the first new Doom, so I'm all about Doom Eternal. The fact that Wolfenstein is coming to the Switch means maybe I'll try out that franchise too. I'm extremely hopeful for Starfield, though I hope that it doesn't cross over too much with an idea for a game that I have. And finally, Fallout 76. I was very worried with the direction it's taking. I didn't think it would be for me. But after what they showed at the presentation, I'm all for it. I like that they're going in depth with some lore, not only of the Fallout world, but of West Virginia. I love the co-op idea. The only thing they're going to have to sell me on is, can I also play the single player and still get a full experience? And if they can, then I'm all for it. Bethesda absolutely nailed it. They get a perfect 10. Devolver Digital. So is there an E3 or industry joke that I was not in on coming into the Devolver Digital presentation? Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that so it's not a question. Devolver Digital's presentation was an absolute joke, and not a funny one.
You stinking bug fuck shit minions.
I didn't laugh at a single thing, nothing was funny, it was just irritating and annoying and god-awful. The most important part of satire in a setting like this is that you're supposed to show what you're satirizing up, by providing a really cool, unique product that shows what the heart of creating and selling a game should be. That is not what they did. They showed, 3 or 4 games, none of which looked interesting and some that looked outright bad, and overall this was a complete waste of 20 minutes. Square Enix. Watching Square Enix's presentation also did absolutely nothing for me, but at least it didn't make me angry. It was just dull, boring, and didn't show me anything I cared about. The only reason they're not the complete loser of this review is because I also watched Devolver Digital, which apparently was my biggest mistake of E3. Ubisoft. As the final presentation to talk about before the big three, overall, they did fine. They were generally fun and entertaining, and they did show a decent bit of gameplay, even if what they were showing didn't interest me. As a side note, I'm going back and forth on if the Just Dance intro was really a good thing to show for the game, because on one hand it was fun and I'm a sucker for music, but it also highlights how all these games should basically just be DLC forever, and don't even need to show new gameplay, because there's nothing new to it. As for the games I am interested in from Ubisoft, the Mario Rabbids Donkey Kong DLC I'm definitely going to get, I'm very excited for that, and Starlink looks okay. It's nice that they are continuing to work with Nintendo, but it's probably not a game that I'm going to get. Overall, they were perfectly acceptable to watch. Now on to the big three. Microsoft. Microsoft was okay for me. They rarely showed enough gameplay for me to be interested in the product, and when they did, it was for games that I didn't care about whatsoever, like Forza. The main issue they had in their presentation was that they kept breaking up showing us gameplay or trailers to repeat the same message about gaming over and over and over.
We're now at a moment of exceptional creativity in gaming. We can't wait to show you what Creativity Unleashed looks like for you. That's what I appreciate most about gaming. Gaming brings us together. Gaming connects us. It inspires our truest cooperation. As gamers, we are at a momentous time. What I love about our art form is the vast range of creative expression.
When it comes to the games they show that I'm interested in, I'm curious about Halo Infinite. I really dropped off of the Halo franchise after Halo 4, which was just such a disappointment for me. Although me and my friend's number one joke going into this was that they were going to announce Halo Battle Royale, and when they first showed that trailer, that's exactly what we thought it was. I wouldn't be surprised if that mode is in there in the end. Other than that, new Ori makes me really excited, and I definitely want to go play the first one. Cuphead DLC has a ton of potential. Battletoads? As somebody who has still not beaten the first Battletoads, but has gotten pretty far, I'm very intrigued, but I'm not sure I trust Rare anymore to make exciting games. When me and my friend watching the presentation first saw that, I just started dying laughing, and he was just horrified looking at the screen. Luckily, they went on to show Gears Tactics, which I'm actually very interested in, and then Gears 5, which, if anything, I'm probably going to pick up Gears Tactics. And then finally, Cyberpunk 2077, I'm interested in. I don't know if the game's going to be for me, but I really like the aesthetic of it. But overall, they did fairly well. So, am I going to keep my Xbox One? Well, there's a couple things I'm interested in coming soon. There's a couple things that I still have that I don't feel like trying to transfer my data for, like XCOM and Overwatch. And there's games, especially from Bethesda, I worry won't be on the Switch as quickly as it will be on the Xbox One. So it's proven to be worth having for a little longer. Though if it comes down to needing a new Xbox, I don't know that I'll buy one. Sony. Their presentation did have a lot of gameplay, but I felt it was pretty messy. It was not a good structure for online viewing. I felt there wasn't enough overview or narration for a lot of the games, so a lot of times I didn't really know what I was watching, and that hurt the experience a lot. I definitely think there could have been a middle ground between what Microsoft and what Sony did that could make for a really great presentation. Looking at Sony's games, there is nothing I'm interested in that I can't get on the Xbox One. The only thing Sony has above that is Spider-Man, which definitely intrigues me because I'm a big Spider-Man and Marvel fan, but I don't know that it's the type of game I want to play, so probably not worth getting a whole console to play. A lot of things are on both, and I think there's an equal amount of interest and disinterest in exclusives that having either is really fine. That said, my answer to what makes getting a PS4 worth it is I have no clue. There's nothing for me besides Spider-Man there that interests me. Odds are I'll never be turning to Sony as my primary console. Nintendo. As somebody who's had a countdown to this presentation on his phone for 3 months, I have to say that the presentation showed some things I'm interested in, but was definitely a little bit disappointing in terms of unnecessary filler or just stuff that I don't care about. I was already interested coming in Mario Tennis Aces, the DK DLC for Mario & Rabbids, and the Octo expansion. And there's more games that are already out like Hollow Knight and Fortnite that I'm excited to have available on the Switch. And they are bringing some new experiences. The new Mario Party looks fantastic. and I'm very excited for Overcooked 2. The Daemon Ex Machina game actually seems pretty cool, and of course Smash, which I'll talk about that in a completely different video. But I think they wasted a lot of time telling us the same things we already knew about Pokemon, and they didn't show us Metroid Prime 4, Pikmin 4, new Animal Crossing, any word on the Star Fox Racing game, or what I was hoping for, something unexpected like a new F-Zero. We didn't get any of that, which definitely let down the experience. I know that's because they spent so much time on Smash, and like I said, I'll talk about that in a different video because I'm very excited for it and there's a lot to talk about, but I think we needed one more massive title to keep the presentation really going strong. They could have stretched it out to a full hour. So is the Switch going to become my primary console, or is the Switch worth it in general? Well, as a Nintendo fan, it's definitely worth it. They've had some killer first-party games, and they've had great indie support as well. There's been a lot of games I've been having a ton of fun with. And I think bigger titles are coming to the Switch as well, especially with the help of Bethesda, and hopefully Ubisoft will be bringing their bigger titles to it as well. However, they do still need a stronger core, both in popular gaming titles outside of Nintendo, and even their own titles. Even if I don't play the biggest game of the moment all the time, I want to know that I have the choice to do that on the Switch. The main thing I'm worried about with the Switch is the same thing as the Wii U, where because of the tech limitations and how fast the other consoles are moving forward with that, we're going to be getting versions of these games later and a little bit worse on the Switch. So I have a bad gut feeling that the Switch will never be my primary console, but I'm still very excited for what it's bringing to the table. So that's how I feel about E3 2018. Like I said, there's a lot of things to get excited about, but a lot of things I was pretty disappointed by this year. And if you're interested in what I have to say about Smash Ultimate, which I played a demo build for, then definitely check out my other video, which will be coming very soon. And if you haven't, please check out my Taurus Tales EP that I released very recently. I worked for probably over half a year on it, and it's 5 songs that I'm really proud of. Thanks for watching.